Welcome to the Beard Me That Beard podcast. I'm David.
And I'm Sam.
And welcome to episode number 29, a.k.a. Sam's age.
As of now.
As of 2 weeks ago. 3 weeks ago?
It's been time. There's been time.
A week? 2 weeks? 2 weeks. 3 weeks.
Time has passed.
Time after time.
Sometimes. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, and Sam came up with this idea for this episode, and it's going to be amazing.
Hopefully. I mean, if you can't tell from the episode title, I mean, we're both casual. Well, we're not even weebs. We like anime. So
anime is good for you.
We figured for those who aren't familiar, we'd give you some cool options if you are interested into stepping into the world
of anime
and manga.
Enemy.
My enemy.
So yeah, we're talking anime today, but first the beer.
What's a beer?
And got it from Alesmith.
I'm excited.
This one is called the Forgeberry.
Like from Halo?
That's the Forge.
That famous mode, the Forgeberry.
Where you get to build your own berries.
Yeah, the berry customizing mode.
Not maps, but berries. And this is I believe it is a sour. Deliciously fruity creation combines the sweetness of raspberries with a bright tartness and refreshing drinkability, all within 120 calories per serving. That's a lot. Refreshingly tart raspberry ale, 4.9%.
So it was a refreshingly tart raspberry ale, the same as a sour.
I think it would. Yeah, I guess. I mean, a sour ale.
Uh-huh.
That's an ale.
It's a nail?
An ale.
Ale. What's ailing you?
Whoa.
Is it that?
Yeah.
Is it really? Mm-hmm.
I
Aggressive.
keep touching Sam's
Dude,
foot.
fucking footsies. Like 2 weeks in a row. I'm like, our toes are going to start interlocking. We
don't hold hands. We hold toes.
I don't like that. That's a gross picture in my head. I'm like, that's too intimate. Like, threading fingers together is like...
Sam won't even do that. But
no
apparently
way.
He wants to do toes.
No way.
Fuck. Yeah. It is tart as fuck.
That's weird. It's not like... It's tart, but it's not like outright sour. Like in the way I'm used to.
No, that's false. It's sour. It's tart.
I
think it's just so strong that you don't really get the sour.
It's a different kind of sour.
It's a punch in the face.
I mean, you're not wrong. But it is not sour in the way I'm used to.
I'm like out of breath
from a sour.
From the I'm out of breath from the tartness.
It just took your breath away. That's great.
Yeah, good job, Alesmith. Your beers usually do that.
Alesmith, you never disappoint.
Strong AF. Good beer, drinkable. I believe on a hot day like today, it is a great beer.
Interesting. I like. They have like some stuff. Little tidbits on the back. Glassware, if you serve it out of a tulip. So that's a type of glass. Mm-hmm. Interesting. Serving temperature, ideally 45 to 50 degrees. Is that Celsius or Fahrenheit?
I believe that's Fahrenheit because we're in the United States.
Kelvin.
Dead.
Pairs well with burrata.
I don't know what that is.
I don't either, but it's got a picture of a fork. So are you eating forks?
You use a fork to eat.
That's like an exotic way.
I don't know.
Of naming a fork. And established in 1995 in Ska.
SDCA. Estaca.
Cool.
San Diego, California. Alesmith. Delicious beer.
Good job. Golf clap. You gotta get a little golf clap.
There's my clap that Sam doesn't like.
Fucking stop.
For the people just listening, I'm clapping with my fingers. Not snapping, but hitting my fingers together, and it bothers Sam a lot.
Before we started rolling, this is that like we do like a clap to sync the audio and the visual, and he was just really getting on my nerves doing like the weakest claps. I'm like,
I did a weak clap first, and then I did a palm clap.
Very silent palm clap, and then the finger. It's good.
Annoyed him.
It's like two jellyfish coming together.
Yeah, but hitting each other. That looks
Sure.
sexual.
Sure. Whatever.
Like 5 penises coming into 5 penises.
Isn't that what jellyfish tentacles are?
I don't know. Are they?
All the tentacles are just like
Pinnacles?
listeners. Respond. Penis tentacles. Not familiar with jelly.
Pinnacles.
Okay. Okay, I think that's enough of that.
All right, Alesmith, Forgeberry, yeah. And today's topic, like we said, anime recommendations.
For all you noobs.
For all you losers out there who don't watch anime.
All you losers that have like active social lives and
you can
stuff.
watch anime and have a social life too.
There's nothing wrong with watching what most would consider to be children's cartoons, which, we're going to foot down.
Some of these are not for children whatsoever.
Definitely, there's at least one or two on here on my list where I'm like, yeah, this is probably this is heavy material for a child.
I arguably have 2 of them for sure. Yeah, 2 of them for sure. Probably not the best thing for a child to watch. One of them probably not the best thing for an adult to watch.
For anyone.
Yeah. But we will get to that. So yeah, just 5 recommendations. They're not our tops, even though some of mine are kind of my top favorites. But there's some things that people could enjoy if they had no knowledge or likeness of anime.
Like we're saying, so for someone, this is mostly for people that, they see anything from anime and they just don't understand it. This is like your gateway anime. And, some of these may or may not be our outright favorites, but, they're all objectively good.
Yes.
So.
Yes, they are. That's the beauty about animes. Actually, never mind. I'm not going to say that.
Did I say objectively good? Is it subjectively good? Like, I think they're good, but, is it like an objective opinion that they're all good?
I think it's objective.
Objective? I don't know. How does that work?
Audience vote.
I got lost.
Would you like to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
Okay, so we decided earlier that we would try and do like a real shitty summary.
But I don't know if I'm that good.
I'm like some of these I could think of stuff, if I can think of one on the spot, I'll do it, but
I can think of 1 or 2 for mine.
For yours?
Yeah.
Okay, so this first one I have is the creepy kid in the back of the class. He gets a notebook that he uses to kill people, and then he fights anime Batman.
He's not creepy.
He's kind of creepy.
No, he's not. Everyone loves him. He's not. Super smart.
Okay, so whatever.
Smart.
He is closeted creepy.
Super smart, white-looking Japanese student gets rare book.
Rare book? I don't know. By the end of it, I'm like, are they really that rare?
I mean, yeah, you're kind of not that. Yeah, they're rare. It's not like everyone has one.
But he's
rare book with the power to facilitate the timely demise of people.
Okay. But it's basically it's like a modern day, almost like Sherlock Holmesian-ish kind of battle of intellects kind of thing.
I wouldn't say modern day because it's not a young anime.
It's not
pretty old.
It's compared to some things, at least on my list.
Actually, I have a really old anime.
Yeah. So it's a more contemporary look at one of those kind of stories.
And we still haven't said the name.
Yeah.
4 minutes into that.
Okay. All right. Ding ding. It is Death Note.
Death Note.
Death Note. This is I'm gonna come out and say it. This is definitely one of my actual favorites.
It should be probably top 5, I think, greatest animes of all time, honestly.
Subjectively.
Objectively.
But let me see. Let me do a better summarization. Okay. Series centers around. Well, at the start of it, he's like a high school kid. High schooler Light Yagami, and we're gonna be butchering some names today because it being a Japanese medium and us being very not Japanese Heads up. Around Light's subsequent attempts to use a Death Note, which is a notebook you can use to kill people by writing their names in it, to carry out. Basically, he's got like a god complex, and he wants to shape the world in his image, in the way he wants it to be.
I think it's how the world should be. So this anime does like, hey, this is not okay, but you're all rallying behind him.
It's like it poses like some really good like ethical question, like kind of like this would have been like perfect to like for us to discuss when we were doing our whole ethics thing.
One, yeah.
But this is definitely like he makes good points, but it's like morally, it's like very, very much like you're like, this is evil. Like you shouldn't be doing this, but it's like an ends justify the mean kind of thing.
Like Sam said, he has a Death Note, which is a book that you write someone's name in it and they die. You can also write how they die, what they do before they die, but ultimately they're going to die. Yeah.
But there's a whole lot of other things on top of that, but that like basically that's what it boils down to.
And he's not the worst person to have a Death Note, because he really.
I mean, he kind of is the worst person.
No, he's
though.
not. He's not.
He's the worst in that he's too smart for his own good. It takes a while for him to really like
super smart
get any repercussions. So like he can use it for the longest.
He uses it for the longest
years.
So, he uses it forever.
So in the general scheme,
but he does it to kill bad people.
He thinks are bad.
I mean, they're murderers.
Objectively bad. There it is again. Objectively bad people, but some people not so bad. They're just in his way.
Yeah, he kills police officers that are trying to catch him, but even
other people.
Even like the world in Japan, everyone thinks of him. Oh, his alias Kira, which is killer. But like everyone in society is like, he's doing a good job. He killed my, rapist or someone who killed my daughter, blah, blah, blah. So objectively, he is killing bad people. But the point is that he's a human, and humans will inevitably use their power for evil, which we always do. So the police try to stop him.
Well, point being, this anime definitely lives in like a gray area of moral ambiguity. But so he's doing that whole thing, and he basically attracts the attention of like the world's foremost detective, only known as L, and that's basically the whole crux of the show, is just them
Sherlock Holmes
having a big mental mind battle.
Very, very good chess game.
Cat and mouse. Very, very good. But yeah, so the initial run, I think it's maybe 40
I think episodes,
30 like 35 38 to like 40 odd episodes, so not super short, but it's definitely worth a watch.
You can probably get a good 8-hour day just watching this show.
You could easily binge this in a day, because it's they're typical anime show length. They're all like 20 odd minutes,
24 minutes.
But at least get through maybe like it's nearly halfway point of the series.
4 episodes, and I think you'll be in. You won't, if you don't like it by the 4th episode, don't waste your time.
Any of these, if like you don't like it within the first few, I mean, chances are it's probably not for you. But at least I would say minimum a couple episodes.
Yeah, it's a good one. It's good. Do the subs too. Don't do dubs.
Generally, for all of these,
the Japanese language
is superior.
Is superior, and the actors care.
And I know that can be a deterrent for some people. Subtitles, but trust me, if you do it for a little bit, like you don't even notice after a while.
You'll just be like, oh, I get it. Yep.
And generally, the performances are way better.
Also, it's not that hard to read.
It's not that hard, and if anything, just trick yourself into thinking it's an exercise. It's like speed reading, but really not, because they're not talking that fast.
And you're an adult, and you should know how to read subtitles.
Stop complaining. But and plus, you're robbing yourself of a great show.
Yeah,
like
super good.
Me and David can't heap on enough praise. It's like, I mean, we've been watching it like pretty regularly since high school.
Yeah, I have. Where is he?
Do you have the pop figure?
Yeah, where is
That's so cool.
Where's Ryuk?
Oh,
he's right there behind the tripod.
Mm-hmm. And there's definitely a big supernatural element to that show. I mean, it's a
Yeah,
notebook you
yeah.
can kill people
Yeah,
with.
they're we won't spoil it, but there's cool beans pulling strings.
But yeah, that's my number one. And if you like a good like thought provoking kind of show with like twists and
Very
turns,
heisty.
yeah, it's
Because they go through it, but then it's like, the plan was this all along.
yeah, they're very good. It's very good about like showing like step by step kind of like what the characters' thought processes are and like the steps they take to get the stuff they want. And I don't know, it's very fun to watch.
Yeah, it's not boring.
It's not boring.
Yeah.
Even though
And
it's like not much
great
action sometimes.
music.
Oh,
Intense. Gets you in the fucking zone.
they get like those crazy those like
Monster choir.
choir soundtrack type thing. They get you hyped.
Yeah, it's a good.
Anytime L's theme comes on, I'm like, dude, I'm about to solve some fucking math. Sick. Good show. Can't recommend it enough.
It's actually in my honorable mentions. I knew Sam would bring it up.
We kind of were like making our lists,
Also,
hoping the other would cover the other ones we like. So
It is a great anime. Watch it. Okay, my turn. This next one for me, or my first one, is a anime that I immensely fell in love with. I believe 2010, after 2008, 9, 10, 11, 12, something around there. The verge of the tens. Code Geass.
another it's another thought-provoking show.
Yeah. Another very
Chessy kind of show.
Chess match kind of show. I guess my shitty summary would be: high school student is cursed by a witch and wants to topple his dad's company.
Yeah. If you boil it down to it, that's kind of
Main character Lelouch v. Britannia.
Lamperouge.
Rarouche. So the thing, it's like they use a lot of like, hey, this is how the world kind of is or will be. There's like 3 superpowers. Britannia, which is Europe or England, and America. So America and the United Kingdom kind of form into one superpower. The rest of Europe and Africa are another one. And I believe the Chinese are their own superpower.
Like the Chinese Federation or something.
Yeah, Chinese Federation or Asia.
Basically.
And then, European Union is Europe and Africa. And Lelouch is this part of the royal family, but he basically renounces his name because his mother died, and his father, the emperor of the Britannian Empire,
Charles,
didn't do shit, could care less, major dick, but he lives in Japan, goes to like a regular student. He hides his actual heritage and identity, so he just can go to high school with his blind sister who is in a wheelchair.
That's basically the setup. That's where all the pieces are at the start of the show.
A big thing it's a mecha-driven anime, but they do such a good job of like, all right, here are some cool mecha fights sprinkled around, and then they bring like a really boss nightmare. They're called nightmare frames.
And mecha, for those wondering, are just they're big robots, big Japanese fighting robots that people jump at. Think Gundam,
Power Rangers too. That's Japanese.
Very sleek looking in this show, though.
Yeah, but they're called nightmare frames because they look kind of like knights, or at least the Britannian.
Out of your nightmares.
The Britannian ones are like knights. They have swords, and
they're all themed around like the round table kind of thing.
Yeah, Gawain.
Yeah, especially the knights. Yeah.
And they have knights. Yeah, but it's 2 seasons ish. There's like a separate series that came out after the 2nd season.
Yeah, there was an OVA series, and then there's a movie.
Alternative timeline movie, which is separate from the show,
which muddles things. So if you're just going to jump in at all, just stick to R1 and R2.
Yeah, those are the first official shows. The movie itself is really good, but it's different. One person's death
makes a huge
difference.
Impact. Yeah. Just stick to the seasons 1 and 2, and if you like them,
Spread out, yeah.
Try the other stuff. That's generally how it works.
So yeah, it's got cool mechas. Lelouch is a very smart high schooler, like intelligence level, like infinity.
Like very similar in that regard to Death Note, where it's
smart
just
high school student.
yeah, basically.
But of course, it also is about Britannia taking over Japan. And the area is called 11. So there's a lot of racial and social injustice involved too, because the Japanese are looked down to from the Britannians, which kind of works in the favor of Lelouch and his. He right away he just says it. Everyone's a pawn. He does not shy away that he has a plan. He's using everyone, and he's going to complete his mission.
Any means necessary. He's like, I don't care who I hurt. I'm gonna use people to get what I want.
And I'll just ruin it. He gets what he wants. He makes his mission gets completed.
It's a little convoluted, but
the last episode, a lot happens.
Yeah,
like the season 2 last episode, season 1 last episode, a lot happens too. But then we're left on a cliffhanger.
Man.
And then we had to wait.
And okay, for those of you who, whoever decides to jump in, like if you make it through the first season and then you start season 2, just you didn't skip anything. Just let it play out.
Yeah.
It's going to be real confusing for the first few,
also,
but you'll get
you didn't have to wait.
We
had to.
We had to wait because we were watching it like as it was broadcasting. So
every week I was watching it. My buddy Warren would download it. Oh, we would go on the same BitTorrent and wait for it to get uploaded, and we go crazy every Sunday morning, I think, or Saturday morning.
Yeah, that was.
It's a really good show.
Kokias, very good. A lot of good action in that show.
Really, yeah. Good action, good music, good
lot of
intros, and all the intros and outros are really catchy.
Yeah, especially Code Geass. It's pretty good. Nice, buddy. Good number 1. Applaud. Oh, and another thing, just in general, not necessarily pointing fingers at anything, but like Japanese stuff, there's like typically fan service. And if you're not familiar with fan service,
it's basically the equivalent of advertising in America, sex sales.
Yeah.
So there's some sexy-esque women.
Don't be alarmed if you get some sudden titties in your face.
Not Death Note, really.
There's some light,
but in Code Geass, there's a lot more.
There's a.
It's not like weird. It's just like, oh, they're at the pool.
I mean, sometimes it's kind of weird, but like, just know that going in. Because I know coming up, I probably have one where it's like, I don't. You like, I hear what you're saying, but I wonder if that's why you like this thing.
I had one on my list, but then I moved it to the honorable mention list because I was like, that's a little. Yeah.
I mean, like the inciting incident for that is
probably would not work now.
So it's there. Some of these are older also, so you got to think about the time they came out.
Yeah.
All right. So for my number 2. And we kept it open for series and features being movies. So
which I didn't put any of those on.
David didn't. I gave you guys at least one, so like you don't have to sit down for hours, just in case.
Oh, Code Geass is, I believe, 25 episodes
per season. So between Death Note and Code Geass, that is like nearly 50 episodes apiece. Yeah. So you probably be sitting down for a little bit. But they're good. Promise they're good.
Also, subs.
Subs v dubs.
Don't do the dub.
There are a select few acceptable dubs out there.
For me, I can think of one on the top of my head. Dragon Ball Z, Dragon Ball Super, all that. That's about it.
And the Full Metal stuff.
That's okay, yeah.
I like it. I mean, like it's comparable to like
it's just,
I could flip it.
There's such a difference between the actors caring and not caring.
Yeah, you can tell when an actor cares or not, and generally more Japanese actors care. So I don't know. It must be a cultural thing or something.
Well, I think the budget is just like, hey, Here's the money for this. Cool.
We'll pay more talented people than Japan.
Here's the little budget to make it Americanized because they don't care.
Oh, whatever. Anyway, my number 2, I gave you guys a feature, and this is like, it's like an all ages kind of thing, but I picked My Neighbor Totoro, which is
That's that guy, right? That famous guy?
Who?
Michael Jackson?
Totoro?
Tito?
I don't know if he ever saw this movie, but he probably would have liked this movie. But My Neighbor Totoro from Studio, is it Ghibli? Giblets?
I thought it was Ghibli.
Gibbles. But this is, anybody unfamiliar, one of Hayao Miyazaki's early ones, and he is like
He's
huge name.
You don't talk shit about him.
No.
But I will say that I'm not a huge fan of the movies, but
That's fine.
the artwork's nice.
They're always like generally any of the stuff he works with. It's always very like
It's like AAA titles.
beautiful, picturesque,
Give him everyone gives him all the money, and he gets to do
huge budget.
like these great stories. The stories is all great, but I just
Like David said, they're like
not for everyone.
definitely, but I happen to like them.
They're wholesome.
Generally,
They're wholesome.
Wholesome. That's a big division between the other stuff we're listing and this one in particular. It's like this is
wholesome family kind of.
Yeah,
like
this is an all ages kind of thing. Yeah, but this one, it's basically all right. What is it? How do I describe this one? 2 little girls go visit
schizophrenia. Start seeing.
No. So basically, it's 2 little girls go see their mom in the hospital.
Yeah,
That makes sense. Or have you seen that one?
yes.
Recently, it's been a while since
I don't
I've
want
seen
to
it.
say too much because I don't want to kill it but the mom's not that sick, right? I just remember at the end, like, why is she even in the hospital?
There's I mean, they don't really go into it, but
Like she
there's
had
a
a
reason
cold.
she's there. No, it's a little more than that. But I'll give you guys
She's
the real summary. But basically, it deals with this professor and
They're
his
spirits, right? They're not ghosts.
the girls.
No, the Totoro and all the
All
they're
the wood spirits.
right?
Yeah.
Okay, I was trying to remember. It's like they weren't ghosts. They
No,
were
no.
spirits.
Spirits.
Yeah, there's a difference.
There's a difference. Japan, very spiritual place. But basically, so it's this professor and his 2 daughters move into a new house, and to be closer to his wife, who is in the hospital because she's dealing with like a long-term illness. Gotcha. And
Cold.
basically, while they're staying in like this very rural house, the girls kind of like make friends with like woodland spirits that live nearby. One of them being the titular Totoro. He's a big giant fuzzball looking thing.
It's like a bunny,
who roars.
rabbit or something, right?
I'm not quite sure
He's
what
got
he's
the
supposed to
ears
be.
of a rabbit, like a big sumo belly.
He's almost like a big tanuki or something. Yeah, big sumo belly.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's a cat bus, which is a huge. That's like I'm like, what a genius marketing thing that was. You guys sold so many plushes. Look it up. It's cute. AF. But yeah, no, I really like this movie. It's like I don't know. Generally, all the Ghibli stuff, it's like it's a very like warm kind of atmosphere. It's
You know
like
what they remind me of? The
What was that?
not Finding Nemo, but Little Nemo.
the kid
Wonderland.
with the bed.
Yeah, the Slumberland.
Yeah,
Slumberland.
I have not seen that one.
So it's like wholesome. There's like a family,
Mm-hmm.
and then get something real dark and scary, but back to wholesome.
yeah. Well, basically, like the 2 little girls are pretty close. Meet up with Totoro. And they're trying to like convince him, oh, he is real. And he's like, oh, no, I believe you. We should like say prayers and stuff. So like, bad stuff doesn't happen.
Yeah, we should have a satanic ritual.
And then the mom is supposed to come out of the hospital, but then stuff happens, and then she has to stay longer. And one of the littlest of the girls is like, "Oh, but I want to see mommy." So like she leaves and
away,
doesn't tell
yeah.
anybody. So they're like, there's a good chunk of this movie where they're looking for this little
She's
girl.
lost in the woods.
Yeah, and
You don't do that in modern day. You can really die.
yeah, and this is kind of a period piece. I think this is like supposed to be like the 50s or something. But like I don't know how true it is, but I remember like doing some research where like I don't know. So this is kind of loosely based on some real stuff about like a little girl that went missing in like real life Japan around that time or not. I don't know if it's true or not.
I like
but-
how you say period piece, just because shitty stuff has always happened in the world. It's just more like we can see it more now than ever.
Well,
like, there's always been serial killers. There's always been murderers. We just have access to the information a lot quicker.
I only say period piece in the meaning that it's like it takes place in a different period of time, because it's like I was saying, it's like I'm pretty sure it's like the 50s or something like that. But there's lots of bicycles.
Yeah, everyone rides bicycles.
Yeah,
it's like a great place to be.
Yeah, but it's like a really like heartwarming kind of like family kind of movie. Like I don't know. This was like one of my aunt growing up gave me this. This is like one of this is probably the first anime thing I ever remember seeing, but I had this on VHS and I would like watch it all the time. So this is very
definitely, you can sit with your family and watch it for sure.
I mean, like I watched it with my family and they don't know what was going on, but I was like, I really like.
That's because your family doesn't really know what's going on.
I mean,
when you put something on the TV,
they're like, he's too old now. We don't know what he's doing, but he's not hurting anybody. So leave him alone.
Leave him in his basement.
But it's really good. I like, especially if you have like, I mean, there might be some explaining you have to do, but like you could watch this with some kids and like good vibes. I definitely recommend. I like this one a lot. But and another, I'll save it for the honorable mention, but another one I would say was like maybe like Spirited Away or something. But
is that the one with the thing that eats the everything?
Yeah, it's the black goo monster with a face. Okay. There's dangling coins.
That's how much I care about these movies and that guy. And I get why people love it. I'm not a fan of it.
Thanks, David, for bashing my thing.
I told someone I told someone in college, like, I don't really like My Neighbor Totoro, and then she freaked out. She's like, "Oh, well, Code Geass' lame." I was like, "That's great. You can say whatever you want. Each of us are entitled to opinions, but it doesn't change the fact that I don't like My Neighbor Totoro."
I mean, like,
she freaked.
But I mean, like, absolutely nobody asked for that. you could just said nothing.
No, this is partly my podcast, so I'm gonna say whatever the fuck I want.
All right, fucker. What's your number 2?
One not meant for children for sure. It's called, and it's probably I would say top 5 anime in the world. Evangelion Neon Genesis. Sam doesn't like it.
I do like it. It's not a personal favorite. I do like it though, but it's just I understand it is like an important like hallmark piece of fiction for the genre, but it gets like for me it gets a little bit kind of like, I'll just say loose by the end of it, where it's just like it's not as clear cut.
The beautiful part about anime is they're animated, so you can come up with anything you want.
It's very open to interpretation.
You don't have
kind
to
of ending.
Make it reality, like people or shitty CGI. Like,
I mean, there's a lot of that in anime now, though.
Yeah, I know, but that's what back then. It was all like pencil and paper.
Oh yeah, this was in like the glory days.
Yeah, 90s.
If they still hand drawn.
So my shitty summary would be deeply depressed son tries to mend his relationship with his abusive father in the middle of a war that toppled the entire world.
I mean, I don't think that's a pretty apt description. That you pretty much nailed it on the head. I don't know if it was a shitty. You just described the show.
I just don't want to put too many details, but
you summarized the show without really detailing a whole lot.
So yeah, this show is definitely at the beginning probably okay for a teenager to watch. At the end, probably not. And I'm not the greatest show for people that need a cut end, because in the show it was still very confusing how it ended.
It's very open to interpretation, and it's not like
and so much
straightforward
that they made 2 other episodes. Well, I guess the plan was they always had those 2 episodes, but they didn't end it. So it has like 2 endings. There's like an ending in between the show, and then there's like a recap, and then another ending.
Depending on like your interpretation of all the stuff that's come out since.
But basically, teenagers in giant mechas fight angels, is what they call them, and there's these big monsters that have a specialty power or something cool about them that are trying to create another impact to, I believe, destroy humanity. That is what we're told.
And if you can't tell already, this was a big influence on other things we like, such as Pacific Rim, especially.
Yeah. Oh, it's Pacific Rim, yeah, but not as spiritual, and it's a lot of like human evolution and the next step or phase and what these angels are, and yeah, it's crazy. It's those last episodes, just like, why are there so many rays?
Yeah, it's very like, why are we here?
Yeah,
what are we doing?
Really,
kind of
like even the ending of it's like it goes to a video of inside a Japanese movie theater.
It's pretty jarring. It just goes like straight from like animation to just real life footage. And you're like, what the fuck?
It blows your mind. But it's a lot of cool fighting, a lot of like the main character is super depressed, anxiety filled. Like his life is kind of like effed up a little bit. But he has a good support class and everyone is pushing him to do really the best he can because he's kind of the best chance the world has. But these mechas are organic. They're not just robots. They're like biomechanical. They have a soul.
Which is a whole thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. But it's every episode's intense. Like every single episode. There's like one episode where they're like they all do like some nice like retreat. But like a lot of people die at the end. And then the weird Sealy organization and their Avas, like their autonomous ones. Oh.
It's a very dense show.
And they did movies started like 10 years ago, 8 years ago.
They've been steadily coming out.
So they do a movie basically like every 4 years to recap the show, but they do it in a different way. So it kind of starts the same way. The second movie changes a little. Then the third movie has blown things way different. And then there's another one supposed to come out this year, but because of COVID, I think they're pushing it.
Which?
It's 3.1 plus 1.0.
It gets kind of Kingdom Heartsy with the naming.
Yeah, the first one is 1.0, 2.0, 3. It just that's how they name them.
And there's a whole theory behind like all these rebuild movies. Are you familiar with them at all? Well, I won't get into it here, but we can go off camera. But it complements the original show.
It's a really good show. Way. The artwork, it's a little 90s. It's not, but back then
it's absolutely 90s.
Back then, it was probably one of the most advanced animes, and then even now, their movies are superior in graphics in every way. They don't do shitty artwork.
It's pretty stellar, the way it looks. Like there's budget in them.
Like Sam said, there's shitty CGI in animes. Not in this one. This one is giant. The mechas are bigger, crazier looking. It's almost holographic, and almost looks like it's coming out of your TV. It's popping. And
this is still like this is a mainstay anime. Like people still talk about it, debate about it, like who's best girl, all that stuff. But if you're just jumping in, just be forewarned. It's very good, but it's very dense. So
question it. It's like watching Westworld. Question every scene. Question why every little thing is there. But it also has so much more human relatability because of the Shinji and Gendo, his dad.
Yeah, that father-son relationship is rough.
We call it father and son because that's what they are. But
only because that's the organic relationship.
The farthest thing from it in the show.
Yeah, but just know that going in.
It is argued, Sam said, it's like a top tier anime. People will die for it.
If you have the patience to sit through, I can guarantee you'll get something out of it.
It's on Netflix.
Currently, yeah.
Yeah, and it's only 25 episodes. It's only one season. So
if you stick to the main series.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
good. It's good. I had a buddy, a little short 30 I started one of my first job after I graduated. I worked for AV at a hotel. And my buddy's like, Mark, he's a weird dude, but he's like a cool, weird dude. And he's like, so what's your favorite anime? And I was like, oh,
loaded ass question.
I was like, oh, this guy watches anime. And I was like, at first I was like, oh, he probably thinks like, Dragon Ball and like just Americanized animes. And I was like, oh, Evangelion Neon Genesis. He's like, mouth dropped to the floor. He's like, okay, bro, we're friends now. Because he was like, he like did like all the Comic-Con, Anime Expo. He like helped set up a small anime expo in San Diego. Like only happened a couple times, but like he was so into the anime scene, and he was shocked when I said Evangelion. He was just like, oh my gosh.
I thought you were going to say Last Airbender.
Which is not anime.
Not anime. Good though.
Isabel watched it and she loved it. And I was like, oh yeah, just heads up. This is not an anime. This is American. This is arguably one of the greatest American animated series of all time. If not, blatantly the top animated series of all time.
With heavy Eastern influence.
Yeah. And everyone's like, no, it's an anime. It's like, nope, American made. That's the one thing America got right.
But Evangelion, a lot of praise for it. Jump in if you have the time and patience. Okay. Well, you want to just I didn't realize how we were doing on time, but
we're at 40 minutes and we each have 3 more to go.
What do you think?
You want to just do 2 more and then
we can do a part 2.
Oh, let's do a part 2. Yeah.
We'll
keep going. We'll probably do another one and each.
So one each?
Yeah. So we had a top 5 list. This probably turned into a top 6 list, and we'll do 3.
We'll combine
3 next week.
Yeah, that's fine. Okay. Man, what do I want to talk about then? I'll go for weird. I'll do that. Okay. My next one. Oh shit! Let me get that down there. My notes. All right. Anybody into meme culture? This one is all over the place right now. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
One I've never heard of or watched.
David, this is right up. This is the exact kind of show that I would say we've been looking for to come out within recent memory. Because I don't know. For this, I know the stuff we generally watch is kind of like a drought right now of really good stuff to jump in on. And this one, it's been coming out pretty consistent for the past 8 or so years. And I jumped on late, but it's awesome. I can't say enough about it. But JoJo's Bizarre Adventure. It's basically anybody familiar with Castlevania? It's that story, but more Japanese.
It's already a pretty Japanese.
So anybody familiar with Castlevania lore at all? It's basically just a family of that. Okay. It's really it's I can't even get into how to describe it. But basically it's like each season it's a new protagonist in a new setting, but the only link is all the protagonists are related by blood and they all go by the nickname Jojo.
Okay.
Which is it is not I could say.
So JoJo is a nickname that they all use, but it's the same family.
It's the same family, but they all have different names, but their nicknames are JoJo.
Different times too.
Different times, yeah.
100 years apart, 50 years apart.
It's usually a generation between.
Okay. Got it.
But I could describe perfectly in detail how each season goes, but that would you could still watch it and be like, what the fuck is happening right now? It's it's amazing. But so I think currently the manga is pretty long running, but the manga being the comic book format, in case we haven't mentioned that yet,
which is mostly what these animes.
A lot of them are manga first.
Yeah.
Some go straight in on anime, but I mean that's not the norm. But so right now there are 5 seasons out.
That's a lot for an anime.
It's long running. It's been out for a while, but yeah, I mean, how would I describe that? Okay, I'll give you a little bit of the Wiki Summary. So it's well known for its iconic art style and poses, frequently references Western pop music and fashion, and it kind of has to do with after I think season 3, a big plot device is everybody has what it basically amounts to superpowers, and they're all named kind of around music related things. So like the villain in season 4, they're called stands, which is are you familiar with that term at all? But basically he has like a spirit that's latched to himself, and it's named Bites the Dust. And there's a lot of goofy ass shit like that, but it's like, I don't know, they refresh it every season.
Queen references.
It's Queen, not just Queen references, but there's another one called like Purple Rain.
That's great.
Yeah, but it's funny coming into America, so there's like a whole licensing thing where they're not allowed to straight call them that, so like the subs will read different. But you hear them saying this stuff, you're like, it's clearly saying Man in the Mirror and stuff like that. But yeah, it's I don't know how to describe all that stuff. But like, so my favorite season is season 3, which is called Stardust Crusaders, and it's basically a guy. he finds out he has superpowers and he doesn't know what they are, so he thinks he's just haunted. So he's like, I'm gonna go to jail. I'm putting myself in jail to keep everybody safe. And then like his mom comes to see him, and then he's like, "Oh, fuck off, lady." He's like, "You're gonna get hurt." She's like, "I'm calling your grandpa." And his grandpa, who is the protagonist of the second season, he's kind of like familiar with this kind of stuff. So he's like, "Oh, I'm going to come get my grandson out of jail." And then like they basically like almost have a standoff, and he brings in another dude who also has powers. Like, "Hey, you're not the only one." And they basically fight. And like, this is the season, like this is like probably the last season where all of the protagonists look like they're straight out of Fist of the North Star. So if you're familiar with that, was basically like, wait, you were staring hard at me right now.
I'm just looking at you. I'm listening to you.
But it's like it's super exaggerated. Everyone's super fucking buff. Everybody looks like Brawly from Dragon Ball. It's just huge
9
dudes.
feet tall,
9 feet tall,
pounds.
ripped, can't live in the real world because they're so huge.
Physically,
yeah,
unproportionate.
But basically, he's like, you're not haunted. You just have powers. Like, oh, okay. And then the grandpa basically sets out the whole plot for that season, which is like, oh, well, our family history is we're kind of like in this eternal battle with this vampire who also has superpowers, who, because he awakened his superpowers, because he got decapitated and his head got attached to my grandfather's body, we all have superpowers now, so we got to go find him and kill him because it awakens superpowers for your mom, but she's too weak to handle it, so it's killing her. So
Jesus Christ,
it's insane. And it's basically it just details their journey from Japan through the Middle East to like what basically is like a final confrontation in Egypt with this dude, and it's just like, it's insane. I can't even describe it. There's like a part where like they're fighting with these kids that have drawings that are like that's like a theme around their powers, where they can draw stuff that happens. There's a dude with a gun that shoots bullets that never miss. There's like it's insane. I can't even describe it. Like the bad guy
gun from like Fifth Element.
It's like he can shoot the other way and it'll find its mark. And then like the bad guy can stop time, but for like seconds at a time, and it's like ridiculous. And I don't know. It's crazy. It's a little bit of a slow start the first season, but get through it because it's short. But second season is where it really takes off.
I think I'm probably gonna watch this.
Please do, because I need someone to talk about it with, like that I know. I know people watch it, but I have no one to talk to about it. I love that show. Please watch it. And I hope they continue to make more, because there is more manga to adapt.
JoJo's Next Adventure.
JoJo's Bizarre Adventure.
Bizarre. Okay.
First season, a little slow. Still good, but second season where it's like
every
all right,
time I hear
in.
that, it's like, it's not even worth it anymore.
It's so good.
We'll see. Maybe I just won't even watch the first season.
You kind of need it though.
I'll read it on Wikipedia.
That might do. But like, I like that protagonist. That lead guy is good.
Sounds like good.
Yeah. But watch it. That's all I'll say. All right, buddy.
All right. I'm going to do, this will be our last one, and we'll continue this next week. This one is a My Shitty Summary, Japanese version of Seinfeld, but in high school.
What are you gonna tell us, David? That's shitty.
Yeah.
That's not Jerry.
Yeah.
All right, go ahead.
This is called Lucky Star, and it's Seinfeld in the sense that it's a slice of life.
It's a show about nothing.
There's no plot. There's really no plot. There's no end goal. It's literally about 4 girls in high school or prep school, whatever.
Just navigating life.
Yeah, they're just regular lives, and they're going to school or going on vacation. It's so watchable. Anyone can watch it and have some sense of like, oh, I remember that. But for me, what the best summary of this anime is, there's a part in an episode where they have this I forgot, a horn, like a breaded a little.
It's almost like a scone.
It's a scone,
like
but
a
it's
croissant.
shaped like a horn and filled with chocolate. And I shit you not, for like 10 minutes, they talk about how to eat it.
It's just like, oh my god,
And then someone calls it. It's like, I think someone called it. Oh, it's like a caterpillar. Like it doesn't even like look like a.
It gets.
They're like,
it's,
if you eat it the chocolate way, then like you might like squirt the chocolate out the end. And they're like, but if you eat it the horn way, all your chocolate will fall out.
All right, I know that description just now was a bit rough, but give it a chance. It's
10 minutes about how to eat a chocolate pastry.
You'll understand right away. Just look for that clip. I forget what you would call that. Search for that as
Horn or it's Lucky Star, but just look up horn. I bet you'll find it if you just look up Lucky Star.
That is like a pretty well encapsulated, just condensed version of what this show is like.
It's literally that's all it's about. It's like they spend 10 minutes talking about like their fitness class. 10 minutes about the roses are bloom or the cherry blossoms are blooming, so they have to go to the festival.
Now, I know outright that might sound boring, but it's an execution. It's the way they do it.
Perfectly
It's hilarious.
Executed. It just everything is funny, and like their reactions, because it's an anime, so it's not all proportional. So they like Konata, I think she'll like go really mad, and her head will be like 7 times bigger. Or like they'll be like comic strip style, like. It's just execution is on point. The story, it's slice of life. So if you're not into that, like just watching, not to watch, like put it on the background. You'll come up to something where you're like, wait, did I hear that right? And you'll also the voice actors top notch. Oh my gosh,
on point. And it was great watching that. Like right after it came out, because that was about the same time as like Code Geass, so there's even some references in there. Because like one of them is like a total like manga nerd.
Yeah, totally. Like their whole room has everything. Yeah, so they're like they're like portrayed as actual people living in Japan.
Yeah.
As the world goes by, like the real world, it's hilarious.
Definitely, that's about as good as it gets for your typical slice of life anime. So
it's not. It's purposeful without having a purpose.
Yeah.
I just don't know how they. Usually, I'd be like, oh, this is not my thing. If it was a real show, like I do like Seinfeld, but that's because it's funny. Like, and it's just like comedy based. This is like there's life, nothing too serious, but not everything is just funny by itself. Like how to eat something, but the way they execute it, the artistry, like how they explain it. It's like how you would explain something you really like in the real world.
Yeah, it's like perfectly meandering, like just the way they do it. But it's like I don't know. Like we're saying, it's like the execution. Like it's just the way they show you.
Yeah, and they have like a little dance at the end.
It's like it wasn't like a.
So. And you'll probably find this still at Anime Expo or any like anime conventions, people that know the dance and do the dance. So if someone like if you play the song, people will randomly just start doing the dance. It's like really it's super hard, but yeah, really
Yeah. And this series is like it's over 10 years old at this point, and like I'm like
Just about, yeah.
like I was just at Anime Expo like last year. Like I still see people cosplaying stuff from this and all that stuff. So it's good. It's up there. So definitely that's a big recommend from both of us.
Yeah, such a good show. I mean, I know people have that, anime, I don't really like it because of this, and this. Get over it. It's still good TV.
I mean, like I know there's a knee-jerk reaction for a lot of people that just have not dealt with that before, but just give it a chance.
This one is out of all, I think all the ones we've mentioned, is probably the most watchable one.
Accessible.
Yeah, and you could probably, without offending your family or anyone in your household.
You probably get some head scratches, but no, it's pretty.
Because you're watching for like high school girls, but it's not.
Well, I mean, just like even what they're talking about, you're like, is this really a show? Yeah. Kind of like, or like a lot of them are like that, but this one in particular.
And then at like halfway through the season, there's like a show within it.
Oh yeah! Oh
it's
wow!
Like the newscast or something. Yeah, it's so funny. Just watch it. It's so funny and out there, but it's real and it's authentic.
Mm-hmm. Good job. I think we did good for our first part.
We'll have some more that probably aren't as I guess watchable. There's some that I have some gory ones coming up.
Well, if you're like watchable for a certain type of person.
Yeah, I mean everything is watchable to someone.
Somebody. There's going to be somebody out there willing to watch.
Elfin Lied or.
Well, we'll get into that next week.
We'll definitely get into that because that one's sick.
Yeah, we love talking about this stuff. Anything else to say?
I'm good.
All right. Keep drinking, keep listening. Beer Me That Beer is a San Diego-based craft beer YouTube, Instagram, Twitch, and podcast show.
And for more of us, check out beardmethatbeer.com. That's beardmethatbeer.com. If you want to reach out directly to us, email us at bmtbinfo@gmail.com. That's bmtbinfo@gmail.com.